commentaries pertaining to Rex Heuermann, who has been accused as the Gilgo Beach serial killer of at least 3 victims, and the ex-chief of Suffolk County, Mr. James Burke, who has just been arrested last week for solicitation, lewd acts, public indecency, and with attempting to make a pass at a man, soliciting a man for sex. We know that this ex-chief of police hindered the investigation into those deaths of those women. And now we have an alleged suspect, Mr. Heuermann. Do these two know each other? Are they affiliated by knowledge of one another and or conspired crimes? That's my subject matter for this evening. Do these two know each other? Is that the reason why the investigation was hindered? Because he knows this man. They know of each other's dirty dealings, their nasty desires for sex with prostitutes, porn. Is there an underground group in that area? Are they a part of an underground group? Have they ever met, talked, conspired in a crime together? What is their connection, or is there even a connection? That's my question today. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign DeGangie, 129 Cash App. $sign DeGangie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during this live stream. Thank you for your time. Court TV has a segment running about serial killers being in plain sight. And with all crimes, people are in plain sight. You may not know what they're doing, what they've done, things they've said, vulgarity, heinous crimes, behaviors. Because as someone once said in a news program recently, that there are 2 sides of a person. The facade you portray in public, your public image, and the person behind closed doors. Are we all guilty of this, having 2 sides? We're one person in public and we're somebody else behind closed doors. And that's the point of any true crime story, really. You don't know people. And obviously, there are people who probably had no idea, such as Mr. Heuermann's family, that he was out trolling for sex with women and then murdering them. So we have to ask that question. How many women has he had sex with? How many women has he paid for sex and men? And how many died that he solicited for sex, Mr. Heuermann? As for Mr. Burke, same question. How many women has he solicited for sex, men and women, underage children? Same thing with Mr. Rex. Has he partook in any type of sexual activity with children? Because he did, if my understanding, had child pornography, if I'm not mistaken. So how deep does this rabbit hole go for both? Both live in a general area? Do they know each other? What other crimes have they committed? Any atrocities against children, boys and girls under the age of 18? And has Mr. Burke committed any murders? Because when we go back to Sarah Gilbert, it's relevant to ask these questions. Did Mr. Gilbert know, did Mr. Burke know Miss Gilbert? Was he anywhere on that island the night she went missing? One law official says she drowned in the marsh. Family says she did not drown. It's trauma to her body. So what is the truth? Trauma to the body, which indicates murder, or she died in the marsh? How deep was the marsh? Because she was a petite person, so if she was traveling at night, it was full of water, mud, murk. One could say, yeah, she ran into the marsh, died by drowning, slipped, lost her bearings, was inebriated by alcohol and or drugs, both, and drowned. Did she drown? I don't know. Is she one of the Gilgo Beach killer's victims? I don't know. But what is the role of Mr. Burke, ex-Suffolk County police chief? Because he has a nasty past, and how convenient to have this man who's allegedly supposed to be aiding and helping the public fight crime, bring justice to the county, and he's partaking in pornography, sex toys, which is his preference, sex with prostitutes, 9 times out of 10, men and women, because you just don't wake up in your 50s soliciting men in public parks, exposing yourself at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's a hell of a allegation that law enforcement has brought against this man. And obviously they were doing an undercover sting to catch men and women prostituting and or soliciting for sex, buying sex. So what are the odds this man with this horrid past, as a poor example of law enforcement, goes to jail for beating up a man who broke into his car to steal items out of his car, including sex toys, to only come out of penitentiary still soliciting sex? So that would lead us to believe this is what he was doing while he was an officer. Very strong allegations against him as a police chief at that time, not doing his job. So was he soliciting women, men, while on the clock, off the clock? Watching porn, still your choice, if that's what you indulge in. But when it crosses into the macabre and breaking the law, then it's a problem. Will we hear that there are not so nice things that he has done to women? Mr. Burke. Brutality, verbal abuse, physical abuse, bondage, any type of kidnap situations, and murder. Do these two know each other, Rex Heuermann and James Burke? Was Mr. Burke on the island the night Miss Gilbert went missing? Does he have any involvement on the bodies found in the Gilgo Beach area? Is Mr. Rex Heuermann the killer of all those victims? He's now been linked to 3. DNA from his wife on at least 2 of the victims, on their purses. It's a hell of a situation. Now, one could say, well, they lived in a house together. That's to be expected. But is this a possibility that these women were inside of the house, Mr. Rex Heuermann's house, while his family was there? How about that? How about that? Not just transference of family members' hair onto the victims, dog hairs, parakeet hairs, whichsoever. The victims were in his damn house while the family was there. Imagine that. In a garage, perhaps. Snuck them in a secret room. I don't know. But what are the odds? The wife's DNA is allegedly on 2 of the victims. That's a bit much. Because one, you got to ask yourself the circumstances for which he met the women. Did he go straight to the women from home, straight to work, to meet the women? What are the odds? Some will say the odds are great because he lived in the house with his family. Does the wife have any knowledge? Could it be the wife is also involved in these crimes with these women, and that's why her hair is on the dead persons? Make it make sense. Hello, everybody in the chat. Melinda, Lady Lolo, thank you for joining me. Mr. Burke is a dirty bird. His secrets are now out to the general public. Beating an inmate in the jail, conspiring with other officers to hide the truth. The district attorney at the time, also a dirty bird. Is this a corrupt Suffolk County Police Department still? How many officers are still on the police force that were working with and for Mr. Burke, that are still currently working for Suffolk County? As I said, how far down this rabbit's hole is it? Dirty, murky, cesspool. How many officers are currently working for the Suffolk County Police Department, Sheriff's Office, whatsoever, that worked under Burke and were in cahoots with Burke, but have not been brought forward on any type of said misdeeds in the police department. Is Mr. Burke a killer? Has he killed any women? Abused any women? Tied up any women? Men as well? Is there an underground group working in this general area with these men involved? Members of a underground porn group, bondage group, secret serial killer group, back page members? Are any of these members been on the back page, the dark web? Do these people know each other? Any other dirty birds committing any salacious crimes such as murder in the Suffolk County Police Department, Sheriff's Department? As I said, how deep does this rabbit hole go? That's the question I pose for you all. Please take the polls on my community page. I have quite a few polls pertaining to Robert Kelly, Miss Lizzo, the singer, Rex HEUREMANN, Mr. Burke, Tori Spelling. All recent breaking news. You do not know people. We're all sinners. We're all flawed. Some of our sins are greater than others, but we're all sinners. We came in sin, born in sin. We're going to leave in sin. The point of sin is to rectify the sin, stand account for the sin, acknowledge the sin, apologize for the sin. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But it is a very ill occurrence when people out here murdering people for no reason. We have a lot of crime in America, all types of crimes, and it amazes me how these people continue to go out here and murder people, not thinking they're going to be caught, apprehended, and brought to justice. And a lot of the crimes are petty. They're not self-defense. Greed. Crimes of passion, if you believe in that. Jealousy, envy-hearted, and sadism, such as what Mr. Rex HEUREMANN has been accused of. Killing because I can. Grandiose attitude, demeanor, godlike complex, narcissist, sociopath, psychopath. Killing at will. No reason, no rhyme, oversexed. A lot of these crimes are sex-driven. These are women haters. And as we learned this lately with BK, his daughter, she's doing a lot of talking. We find out her father was abusive to her and her family. And that's what I've been waiting to hear. Because I can't see you turning that off when you go home to your family, your friends, even your work. You're out trolling the community to kill people, and I'm supposed to believe you are never violent with anyone besides your victims. There's no way. Pulling out the charm, of course. But there comes a point when the killer shows his face, as Miss Carey has told News Nation, Miss Banfield, that BTK dropped. His face showed his real face, Mr. Dennis Rader, and BTK was visible. Dennis Rader was a facade. Ted Bundy, all these other men out here killing, women as well. Some of them are killers as well. Just a government name used on paper, but they are sick, demented, tainted souls, lonely vessels, walking amongst us in plain sight, trolling for victims for whatever reason. The sad part about these women who are missing and then later found dead, that there's no regard for them as human beings. And they're easy targets because they are out working for money, to get money for their habitat, drugs, whatever. And they easily get in cars with men and women for the money. So they are easy targets. Not like some of us who just wouldn't get in a car with a stranger. Some of us have, not for sex, but maybe needed a ride to the store somewhere. didn't have a car at the time, or a car broke down, that you can make yourself a target by breathing. You don't have to necessarily be selling yourself for sex, drugs. You can just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, make acquaintance with the wrong person, and become a victim. People are murdered every day in their homes, going to school, leaving school, work. No one is safe. And as you have seen with the recent atrocity in Florida, a young man wasted his whole life to kill 3 black people at a store, Dollar General, in the parking lot, because he doesn't like black people. And then later he kills himself. Self-hatred can lead one to the path of destruction. And that's really what you're seeing today with murder. These people are self-haters. They do not like themselves. They are insecure. They are lonely vessels. They are miserable inside, and murder becomes their friend. And then they take the coward's way out by ending their life as not to stand trial for murder. I'm waiting to see if Mr. Burke and Rex Heuermann know each other. It will be mind-blowing to find out they do know each other. They've talked to one another. They've dealt with each other, done things together, met up, and also conspired to these murders at Gilgo Beach. And it would also be atrocious to find out that there are other victims outside of Gilgo Beach. And these two are responsible, are in cahoots. Others have conspired. Will we find out these two know each other, conspired to murder women, prostitutes, sex workers, and other law officials are involved, and also other people on the island of Gilgo Beach. Random civilians and law officials. That's my commentary. Hello, Ms. Walsh. Thank you for joining me. Is there a connection between ex-police chief of Suffolk County, Mr. James Burke, and suspected Gilgo Beach killer, Rex Heuermann? Is there a connection? Are others involved in law enforcement or other civilians? Are any of their friends, family members have knowledge of any misdeeds or murders of these two men? And is Rex Heuermann's wife involved? Did she know that he partook with sex workers? Did she ever meet any of them? Did she ever join in any sexual games? But that never crossed any of you all's minds, that this woman could be involved in some way. And I'm not here to badmouth her because I do not know her. But there are times when people do know of people's deviant behavior, maybe not necessarily that they're murdering someone, but they know of their sexual deviances and preferences. Have knowledge of it, join in, seen pictures, porn in their phone, computers, books, magazines, conversations, eyewitness to torture, kidnapping, and never said a word. Will we find out that Mrs. Heuermann has participated in atrocious crimes with Mr. Rex Heuermann? Will anybody ever come forward and say, I've met this woman, I've seen this woman, I've had a sexual encounter with this woman and Mr. Rex Heuermann? Wouldn't that be something? What is going to happen to Mr. Burke now? Is he married? Does he have children? In a relationship? What would his wife have to say about him partaking with sex workers? A man soliciting a man in an undercover sting? How are you now going to explain that? You're going back into the jailhouse with all types of people who've committed crimes as a bisexual or homosexual man and an ex-police chief. You definitely wouldn't be popular in jail. I would assume he's out, possibly made bond. I believe I did bring that information that he made bond. But it's still nasty allegations against a man to be deemed heterosexual, but soliciting sex with a man and exposing himself in a park at 10 o'clock in the morning, for God's sake. Trying to get sex with a man. You can't stoop any lower besides being accused of murder. Sadism with a child. Sadistic behavior with a woman or a man. Animal. It's all the same to me. I want to thank you for your time. When I get an update pertaining to Mr. James Burke and Mr. HEUREMANN, I will bring you that said information. And we also can do another stream together pertaining to men hiding in plain sight who are atrocious in behavior, sadists, rapists, child molesters, murderers, and how they're able to go without detection and no one even putting together that they are out here trolling for victims. Women, men, children. Because they are out here in plain sight, waiting on the moment to be caught and for their little dirty secrets to get out. As most of you know, this situation with Mr. BK, Dennis Rader, he may be linked to 2 other unsolved crimes pertaining to women. His daughter has been working with law enforcement. And as most of you know, I feel some type of way about her talking lately. It's kind of creepy to me. And I do feel like she's riding on the coattail of her father, his salacious notoriety. And that's my opinion. She stayed dormant for years, not speaking. Some will possibly question, why now? Why talk about your life with Dennis Rader? 18 years of not speaking to him, visiting him in the jail, the prison. Why now visit? Are you also carrying traits of your father, Dennis Rader, Miss Carey? Because your commentary to News Nation was not enlightening to me. It creeped me out when you used the word we, identifying yourself with law enforcement. Signs of a sociopath or a narcissist was not a good look. Once again, if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie 129, Cash App, stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Thank you all for joining me. I will be back a little bit later to talk about Dennis Rader, better known as BK, BTK, I keep calling him BK, BTK, and is his daughter riding on his coattail? Is Carrie exhibiting traits of her father, and she's wanting attention, and she wants to be known for something, but I don't know why anyone would want to be known as the daughter of a serial killer, son of a serial killer, mate of a serial killer. Most people wouldn't want people to know their government name, would not want to be talking to the news, TV shows, documentaries. Maybe she should have just kept quiet, because there's something very creepy about her commentary lately. And I'm going to discuss that with you all at a later time. I want to thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful week. A little more pleasant today in the high 10. Thank the Lord. The heat is trying to subside a bit. We're expecting storms. Please stay safe this week. I will have a movie suggestion. Last week's suggestion was The Ones Below, playing on Tubi. And I have another suggestion I'd like to bring to you guys. I will post it either tonight or tomorrow. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe, stay hydrated. You have been listening to The Vault XL.